All right, the Reds, it is Talking Reds, and it's Talking Reds on match day. The mighty Reds are in action at Wolves tonight. It is 8 p.m, it is on Sky, and I've got James Sutton with me to talk about all that, about the big game tonight, about 8th placed Liverpool going to 13th placed Wolves. No set of supporters there happy with those particular positions, but we can go up to 6th if we win tonight. We can go ahead of Everton in the table, which is always nice. And we would be, should we win, 5 points behind Chelsea, who are in 4th currently with 51 points. James, just before we start on the Reds and what you reckon, where you reckon they're at and all that kind of stuff, I caught some Hollyoaks the other day, mate. And that fella you're involved with, get rid of him. He's graft him, lad. He's no good for you.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for tuning in.
Do you know what I mean?
It's been wild, man. It's been good. They always give me the storylines that involve like loads of crying and loads of like absolute fucking misery that they put on top of me every storyline. Anyone would think they don't like me very much.
You're good though, aren't you, mate? I mean, like I was like, there's my mate on the telly, he's fucking boss. It was good. It was good. I enjoyed it. Tune in, everyone. Thanks, watch James on the telly.
6:30, Channel 4 weeknights.
There you go. Got a plug in. The Reds, then, how are you feeling about the Reds? Because obviously it's been, it's fair to say, fairly grim, to say the least, in terms of, we all know the records, the 6 on the spin at home and all that kind of defeats at home. So maybe then, given that it does seem to be some kind of psychological funk at home currently, it could be to our advantage that we're actually away tonight.
Yeah, I think I've just read Rob's preview piece on the Wrap app, and he makes a good point about the home and away form. It's essentially like we've played all our games at Wembley all season, because there's no home or away fans. You get absolutely no advantage. So it doesn't really hold any water for me that we lost 6 in a row. 6 at home. It's frustrating and it's disappointing, and we expected more this season. And that record that we had as well was something that we were all dead proud of, weren't we?
Yeah.
The last couple of years, it was Fortress Anfield. That's how you build. That's how you build title defenses. That's how you build. You get trophies that way. Your home form is massively important. But I'm probably. I think now that kind of a bit of time's passed, and we had that nice win in the Champions League. I feel a little bit more. I feel a little bit more positive about things. It's funny, I was chatting to a Wolves fan at work this morning, actually, and the mood down there is utterly miserable. And I had no idea. I thought they were just kind of, bumbling along reasonably well, Wolves, kind of mid-table, doing all right, as you'd expect. I know they've lost a couple of their big players, but
Jimenez being the big one, isn't it? Well, I mean, since his fractured skull, I mean, they're really struggling to score. I think he scored a third of their goals last season. Just him alone. He's a great player. Yeah. So he's been a big miss for them. But yeah, it is grim for them. I mean, I was looking at this myself. I sort of, you hear the name Wolves to me anyway, and you go, tough game, tough place to go, all that kind of stuff. I mean, we've only seen our side win 6 games this year so far. And that feels graft. And it has been graft. Let's not dress it up. But Wolves have only seen their team win 5 this year. They played less games than us because they're not in Europe and stuff. But I'm not sure that helps. Do you know what I
mean? They're not scoring. That's their biggest issue, is they're just not scoring. If you look at the results, they get a point at Chelsea. I think they get a point at Newcastle. They narrowly lose to Everton. There's they're kind of. There's enough points on the board that they shouldn't be overly concerned, I don't think. But they're not looking forward to us coming to play tonight. They're really not.
Yeah, absolutely. Their recent results, I'll just run through a few of them. They won at Southampton 2-1 last month. I mean, everyone's winning against Southampton currently, though. They beat Wolves 1-0. They got a draw 1-1 at Newcastle. They were absolutely tonked by Man City 4-1. And last time out, it was 0-0 against Wolves. We've got this weird thing, mate, where we're not doing anything in the first half. That keeps getting brought up when you're watching games, and it's like Groundhog Day when you're getting reminded about it, and you're like, yeah, cheers, Jamie, or whoever's trotting that particular stat out for you. But again, Wolves similar in that, I think it's 13 first halves now where we haven't scored. Wolves are on a run of 9, same. So it's sort of like, I seen one preview which made me laugh because it was on Sky Sports' own website, where they were basically saying, maybe do some chores in the first half, give someone a bell. Do you know what I mean? Because it was basically saying, stats are suggesting fuck all will happen in the first half.
And it's the same across the board, though. I watched some of that United game yesterday, and it's just absolute, just abject. There's just nothing happening in the first half, and I think, and I do think, I think in hindsight, after this, when fans are back in the grounds, I think we'll see a huge difference. Yeah. I don't think you can underestimate now, or even pass it off as just fiction, how much of an impact fans have on the players. Because at the moment, it's just 22 lads. It's a fucking training exercise. Yeah. There's no reason to reach those heights, because you're not playing in front of anyone. So who's there to support?
It's a little bit sad as well, isn't it? I just keep getting hit by the sadness of it. I mean, I watched some of the football over the weekend, and is it Dwight McNeil, I think, scores an absolute cracker for Burnley against Everton, and obviously I enjoyed that for the reasons that are obvious there. And it was a cracking goal, and I seen him getting interviewed afterwards, and he was like, "Yeah, it's the best one I scored," and I'm like, there was no one there, mate. Do you know what I mean? Same with Lamella's Rabona. Everyone's like, fucking hell, what a goal.
Imagine if that had been
if that had been in the ground.
A packed Emirates. That would have been ridiculous. Yeah, it's and it has had a huge impact. I can almost predict, or certainly so far this year, how a Liverpool game's going to go. We're going to have the majority of the possession in the first half, only have a couple of shots on target, not really do a huge amount. Go in the break at 0-0. They might nick a goal. We might nick a goal, and that's essentially the end of it. Those days of being 2-0 up, 3-0 up at half time, man. We need to get back to those winning ways, man. And that's the thing, isn't it? We've been looking for, right, this is when we're going to turn a corner. This is this is the game. This is the result that's going to change things. And I think getting through that Champions League draw, those two really good performances. You'd like to think in an ideal world that's going to, give them loads of confidence. They're going to go into this thinking, right, come on, because top four is not unachievable. It's really not. I mean, yes, we have to rely on Chelsea and a couple of others, but until it's mathematically impossible, you have to believe that we can do it.
Absolutely. I'm not behind any sort of just fuck this off now. It's shit. I'm always, and I think I'm probably going to write something about this. I always think that. The phrase dare to dream, fuck the dare bit off, just fucking dream, because that's the point. That's why we're all in this, do you know what I mean? I used to hate that thing about, how Scouts are saying this is going to be their year. Yeah, lads, that's the idea.
But if you don't think like that, then what are you in it for?
Yeah, why'd you arse? Are you just knocking around going, oh, this is all shite, isn't it? We're shite, they're shite, that's crap, this is poo. Nah, it's not for me. I mean, while I was knocking together some notes for this, I disappeared down a bit of a rabbit hole, started checking all kinds of odds. And, we are fourth favourites currently to finish in a top 4 position. So, I was like, oh, we are, look at that. So, Man United obviously bang on odds on. Chelsea, Leicester, then us. Then West Ham, Tottenham, Everton. Everton are 22-1, Arsenal 33-1, and on we go with those. But also as well, I did have a little sort of cheeky check on the odds to win the Champions League as well. Because why the fuck not? Do you know what I mean?
Go on. What we're looking at?
Absolutely wild season. I think we're about fourth favourites for that as well. Yeah. Which seems fair. I mean, obviously the draw this week, and we'll be covering that. I think we're going to do a live talk and Reds reacting to it as it happens and all that kind of stuff. So look out for that. But yeah, I just think why not? Because you're right in saying that all season long we've had the thing of there's been a result or a performance and you go, right, that's it, here we go, the Reds are back, and then they haven't followed it up. And Wolves at home was one of them. We had the fans in. I was fortunate enough to go to that one. And we won 4-0. And we were fantastic. And, there was a big difference even with just the 2,000 in. I remember, Matip scores in that game, doesn't he? Remember him. And he come to the 2,000 in the Cop or the 1,500 in the Cop, and he did like this big mad sort of primal scream, like, you know what I mean, and you could hear him, and it was like, well, he wouldn't be doing that if there was no one there. You can't do that to a seat. You can't do that to a you can't do that to a flag, and so. You know, it's pandemic football, isn't it? It's not football as we know it. And as you say, I can't wait for the idea now of when we do go back. And I keep imagining what that will be like. And, you know, you said before that everyone keeps bolting on the, you know, oh yeah, you had this 68 game run or whatever at home and you were brilliant. But now you've lost 6 on the spin. And I'm like, yeah, but it's 6 on the spin in this weird pandemic world. The moment we're back in there, the moment we can finally sing to the boys again, the moment we can go for a pint, the moment that the Cop does what the Cop does, I can see our home record being turned on like a light switch again, because all of a sudden, like the players are going to be like, "This is it, yeah, this is the one." So, you know, there's loads to dream about still, isn't there?
For years we've been, you know, for my whole lifetime, we've been telling anyone that will care to listen that we've got the best fans in the world, and that the atmosphere at Anfield is second to none, and that, you know, the 12th man is you can't underestimate that importance, and it completely rings true. You only have to look at this season. It's not, you know, yes, we've had injuries, yes, there are other factors involved. Of course, there are. We know that. But if the majority of that for me is that there's no fans there. As soon as we're back there, honestly, it's going to be night and day. I feel hugely positive about next season now. I mean, I know we've got to get to this. We've got to get top 4, but having the fans back is just going to make the biggest difference. And if we can get to a Champions League final or even a semi-final, or just, you know what I mean, have that, just something to get really excited about and get behind this team, because if there's one thing that this team has shown in the past, three years, it's that, you know, they can do mad things. This team are capable of madness. You saw it at Barcelona. You've seen it, you know, prior to that, you saw it at the Dortmund game. You know, these big European nights, there's always room for a madness there. And these lads, they're bang up for it, man.
Yeah, let's hope so. You like to mention injuries, by the way. There was a piece in The Athletic over the weekend which talked about the number of absences, so, you know, literally incidences of injury that have affected a team, and Liverpool's is 47 number of injury absences in the Premier League this season. The only team close to us there that I can see quickly looking are Newcastle. Obviously they're struggling, it's fair to say. There's a few there, like, sort of, you know, they've done it in 2 ways. So they've done incidences of injury and then days missed of injury. And actually, Palace have got more days missed, but I think it's all down to 3 players that. So basically, you know, we've Liverpool players have missed a cumulative total of 178 Premier League games between them, which is fucking madness. And we all know it is. But, you know, this game, Wolves as well. I mentioned before about sort of how it feels tough. We've actually got a good record against them though, which I was kind of surprised by. I mean, you know, when I think about Wolves, like I said before, you think about tough games, you think about a good side, they play nice football, all the rest of it. But they've lost their last 8 against Liverpool, and in fact their last win doesn't count because it was December 2010 and we had an absolute bellend in charge of the team. Yes, I've got a Hodgson thing in.
Yay! Fucking owl-faced twat. No, yeah, absolutely. Look, this isn't the Wolves of last season. This isn't even the Wolves of the beginning of this season. You know, that kind of I think of Wolves like similar to you. You know, and I think of them. You know, really exciting, expansive football players that can really play. You know, I mean, they had Jota there. You know, they have serious players, and Jimenez and his pomp. Connor Cody doing a really good job. They've changed their defensive setup as well recently. I think they're in a back 3 now, and they were in a kind of more of a back 5 before. And I think Connor Cody sort of struggled a little bit to adapt to that. So there's definitely going to be space to exploit. And look, you know, if I had to pick a lineup, regardless of whether Firmino's fit, I'm you know, Diego Jota has to start for me. With Salah and Mane on the left, and you know,
Fabinho in midfield.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Fabinho in midfield. If Naby Keita's fit, then you know, there's an argument that he gets thrown in there. and maybe give Ronaldo a rest. But we've got plenty. We've got absolutely plenty. And those two young lads in defence as well that we're gonna, I would imagine all the talk is that they retain their place tonight. I mean, I think it's been. I'm so bored of talking about like Liverpool's centre backs. Like it feels like it's been a conversation point in every discussion I've done this season.
Yeah,
has been and rightly so to a degree. But it does feel like finally we've got a pairing that can kind of understand each other and can kind of there's a nice balance there. There's a nice kind of synchronicity between them. And if you've got, like you say, if you've got Fab in front of them, then I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it's been nice today reading all they've obviously put Nat Phillips out to do a bit of press over the weekend ahead of this game, and I just think that's been nice to read because obviously we all know he was on the verge of going to Swansea, but little bits and bobs come out of the interviews that he's done over the weekend, and I like that when he was at Stuttgart, and he knew Liverpool had won the league, drives into training with "You'll Never Walk Alone" pumping out on the car stereo and stuff like that. I mean, that's quality. He's been talking about he wants to get his shirts framed from playing in the Champions League, playing in the Premier League. He even talking really honestly as well, saying I wasn't sure I was going to get this chance, didn't think I was going to make the grade. And, now you've got the manager bear hugging him after he headed everything against Leipzig. And look, it's not ideal for anyone that he's ended up playing these games. We much love to see Verge there. And of course, Wolves bring back memories of him turning on the afterburners against Traore and just fucking ushering him out the way. But Nat Phillips is a nice story, isn't it? In a grim season that's got us all down. He's a nice football story, isn't he?
Yeah, and you've got to kind of we got to make a lot of these nice stories at the moment because I don't know if you've noticed, but the world's a little bit shit, and there's not.
It is, mate. Yeah.
There's not a huge amount to. There's not a huge amount to get positive to be positive about, and something like that's really. It's heartwarming in the similar way that Adrian comes in, at the start of last season and gets thrown in and does really, really well, and all of a sudden, he's winning medals and doing interviews, and he's like, yeah, this is all madness. Like I didn't expect any of this to be happening, and it's a similar thing. I think he used to sit on the cop, didn't he? Phillips.
Yeah, there was a thing. Wasn't his dad did or something like that?
I'm sure he.
I mean, we're not doing Si Hughes' piece justice here, are we? Sorry,
No,
Si.
not really.
We've both got up early in the morning and read your piece, and we've took some of it in, but we can't remember what the bit about being on the cop was.
I remember thinking it was a really nice article, and that's about all I've taken away.
It was a nice article. Let's say it was Nat. I think it was Nat because he's obviously a red these days, the Bolton Baresi. One last thing to say about this game, mate, is that people obviously haven't been enjoying the football as much as they should be because of Liverpool's results and where we've ended up in the league and all the rest of it. There's a big break after this one, we're playing today, Monday the 15th, and then we've got no match until the 3rd of April. Which is absolutely mad and may be good to get some freshness into legs and minds and all the rest of it. Equally, though, it means that we haven't got it. I mean, I did see someone on Twitter and it made me laugh. They composed this really nice tweet about what a great weekend they'd had and they'd done this and they'd made that and they'd been there. And they were like, basically, I'm saying the Reds didn't fuck me weekend up.
There's something to be said for that.
We have got this break from it now. What I'm saying, though, is that I think that adds to, let's win this one, Reds. Let's go out with a little bang. Let's remind everyone above us that we're still about. We're pushing for that top 4 spot, and then we can all regroup mentally, physically, the fans and the players.
Yeah, I think absolutely, man. I mean, it's been relentless. Relentless. I mean, a game every 3 days for the past 3 months or something. That's mad. Yeah, that's fucking mad. Especially when you've got an injury list that reads, it reads like the post-war apocalyptic. Everyone on the fucking treatment table. So I mean, as much for the players as anything else, just to like you say, to regroup, to chill out a little bit, because I can't. I mean, never been a professional footballer, but I can't imagine what that must feel like to have a run like we've just had, where every single game is just bullshit. Like every single game, you're going into it and you're thinking, right, this is it, and then you're coming off the field afterwards, just feeling completely, just downhearted, and you've got to do all the media and stuff. It must be crap. I mean, I read something. There's another piece on The Athletic that was saying that it felt like quicksand.
Yeah,
did you read that? Yeah, that there was just, the players didn't feel like there was anything they could do to halt this awful form, which is just psychologically, I don't know what that must do to a player.
Everyone must just, the manager included, must just be doing primal screams in a cupboard somewhere, because it has felt all season like, fucking hell, not another injury. Do you know what I mean? The way Henderson tried to basically, he was like, it's like something off Monty Python or something. It's only a flesh wound, wasn't it? Do you know what I mean? Just trying his legs,
carrying one of his legs.
Going, no, I'm all right. I can still play. But that said everything to me about him, and collectively just going, oh, fuck off. And there's only so much that anyone can do about a situation like that. I mean, when we had the ridiculous point there where people started to discuss the manager, which pissed me off no end, I was like, well, what do you want any manager to do right now? Yeah. I get the thing, okay, you could tweak the system a little bit, and Klopp's a little bit stubborn tactically at times, but ultimately, you get another fella in, and another fella comes in and goes, okay, well, who's fucking fit then? Sam, Nat Phillips, your centre-half then, because there's no one else, do you know what I mean? Yeah. Not to do Nat a disservice there, because as we've just said, we're all loving the Bolton Brazy. Anyway, we're just going on here, aren't we? Now, I've enjoyed this though. I've had a little break off, and but this is my first day back in. It's nice to see your face, mate, and have a chat about the Reds. And hopefully you've all enjoyed it at home as well. And what I will say as well is, as I say, we are doing a live event. A live thing on YouTube, whatever you want. Yeah, let's stick with fucking events.
In the grand scheme of things, right now, that's an event.
It's an event. So the draw is on Friday, I think it is, and then the actual quarterfinals will be 6th and 7th of April, first leg, and the second leg's on the 13th and the 14th of April. So we shall see who we get. Who do you fancy?
Anyone but City.
Yeah. I'll go along with that. Yeah, I'll go along with that. Anyone other than City and PSG, I would probably add.
Do you not fancy PSG?
Not yet. You know what I mean? I mean, I get that we might have to play them, but I'd quite fancy like Porto or something.
A German team would be nice.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Dortmund are in there, so there's the potential of that, whole Klopp Liverpool thing and all the rest of it. But we shall see. But yeah, thanks for coming on this morning, mate. It was an early one. We thought we'd get it done, dusted, and out there early before the match tonight, 8 o'clock. And as usual, we will do all our post-match stuff as well. So the post-match pint, the post-match podcast, stuff on the website, stuff on the socials, the Anfield Wrap, up the fucking Reds. That's been Talking Reds. Come on, Liverpool, get us a fucking win tonight. Up the Reds.